All right, so we were asked to find the radian measure for theta equals 5 pi over 6. Well, I mean, if you have this unit circle thing, you see right here, it's this. But where does that come from? Well, we could unpack this just a little bit. There are two types of right triangles that we use a lot in trig. So this one is the 30-60. In other words, this is 60 degrees and this is 30 degrees. And this is easy to remember. The short side is going to be 1. The long side is going to be 2, the hypotenuse. And then the other side is root 3. So I always think 1, 2, root 3. That's easy to remember. The other special right triangle is the 45-45. So both these angles are 45 degrees, and this one's 45 degrees. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better. And that ratio is, that ratio is going to be 1 square root of 2. So what's the relationship? Well, pi is equal to 180 degrees. So now if I were to take this and divide this by 6 and divide this by 6, pi over 6 is equal to 180 degrees divided by 6, which is 30 degrees. So then we focus on this 30-degree triangle. So you could orientate it differently if that helps you kind of figure out what you're doing. But basically, this is 30 degrees. And this is 1, 2, and this is the square root of 3. Okay? Now, this isn't drawn to scale perfectly, but that's how I remember it. So then what does this mean? Well, on the grid, the 30-degree one is going to be theta. It depends on what situation you're in, but when you have 5 pi over 6, that means that we multiplied this by pi, and that means that we multiplied this by pi, or both sides of the equal sign. So 5 pi over 6 is equal to 5 times 30, which is 150 degrees. So what we end up doing is we have this little triangle right here, this point right here, where this is a 30-degree angle, which is my reference angle. And so we're basically drawing a circle right here to figure out where on the unit circle this is going to be. So the unit circle, then, you're going to have a right triangle, and this is the tricky part. The unit circle is called the unit circle because the radius is 1, but the ratio is the same. So this would be like your 30-degree angle, all right? And this up here, this is the short side, so this would be like 1, and this would be 2, and this would be like the square root of 3. So what we would do is we're going to also, on the unit circle, we have to remember that the x is equal to sine of theta, and that y is equal to cosine of theta. Actually, no, I got that backwards. X is cosine of theta, and y is sine of theta. So what does that mean? Well, it's going to be the opposite of 30 over the hypotenuse, right? So it's the opposite over the hypotenuse, so that would be 1 over root 3, right? And then cosine would be the adjacent, which would be the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Oh, wait, it's 2. This is 2. The hypotenuse is 2. So this would be 1 over 2, and then this would be the adjacent, right? So remember, this is the opposite This is the adjacent, and the side across from the 90-degree angle is the hypotenuse. So this would be root 3 over 2. But on the xy plane, this is technically negative root 3 because in order to get to this point right here, we went in the negative direction 3, right? So this is negative root 3. So the x value is a negative root 3 over 2, and the y value would be 1/2. So all that to say this is the answer, okay? And that's because the reference angle is 30 degrees. So this is the point or grid on the graph.